Hello, 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 hello. And welcome to C3Arts Radio. This is your loyal host, Philip Harvey, and I'm coming live and direct to you from City College, New York. Of course, the college on the hill. And we are the broadcast arm of the City College Center for the Arts. And I'm here, of course, with my right-hand man, Mr. Winston Brewington. How you doing today, Winston?
I'm doing great, man. The year is coming to an end very, very soon.
This is the end. This
is.
is the end. As Jim Morrison might say. But it's only the temporary end, right? It's the end of one chapter. It's the beginning of another one. We're here. This is actually going to be our last foray for 2017. So we're going to clean up some loose ends today and make sure that you understand how excited we are going into 2018. 2017 was a rough year in many respects, but that just sets us up for the next year, which is going to be much better, I can assure you. Yeah?
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Gotta keep the faith, man. Keep it positive.
Gotta keep it positive, that's for sure. That is for sure. Now, as the broadcast arm of the City College Center for the Arts, it is our duty, our responsibility to make sure that you know what is happening on the stages of Aaron Davis Hall. Of course, yes, that Aaron Davis Hall, the Aaron Davis Hall that is the biggest performing arts theater north of Lincoln Center. Right? So Northern Manhattan, that's all about Aaron Davis Hall, let me tell you, okay? It's all about City College Center for the Arts. I'm just talking trash. It's not all about it. But we're trying to make sure that we're in the mix and also make sure that we provide a nerve cycle for everything else that's going on, okay? That's why C3 Arts Radio is here, to bring you all the information on the people, the events, and the things that make up this world of the cultural arts. And it's a very beautiful world, I must say. And a lot happened in 2017, so we're going to talk a little bit about it today on our final show of 2017. But let's get into the business at hand, okay? Right? Let's tell you what's going on. See, the things that are happening at Aaron Davis Hall, they just keep rolling. And it's fantastic. Programming all year long. Now, last couple of things we want to get and make sure that you understand and put forth in front of you. Of course, what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks is Un Romance Latino. It is the year's final installment of our ongoing series with the Dominican classical artists, the Association of Dominican Classical Artists, that, of course, we have a fantastic partnership with, the Association of Dominican Classical Artists and City College Center for the Arts. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic pairing, right? Well, this particular show, Un Romance Latino, featuring the soprano, Miliange Perez, and the tenor, Edgar Perez, is going to take place Thursday, 2 days from now, ladies and gentlemen, the 21st of December. It's going to be 7 p.m. in Aaron Davis Hall in the Marian Anderson Theater. Yes, the Grand Theater, named after one of the greatest artists of the 20th century. That would be Marian Anderson herself, right? Yeah, the Marian Anderson Theater, it all makes sense, yeah. So that's going to be Thursday, December 21st, 7 p.m., Aaron Davis Hall, Marian Anderson Theater. Now, it's the second in this portion of the series of annual concerts and the series that we do with the Association of Dominican Classical Artists. It's a celebration of famous boleros written by Latin American composers, in which the great soprano Perez and the tenor Perez and the soprano Perez. The tenor Perez, sopranos Perez. Okay, I think you got me. And they're backed by La Camerata Washington Heights, which is the very, very large orchestra, over 40 musicians that often perform as part of the Association of Dominican Classical Artists. So you think about this organization, how important it is, how it supports all of these musicians, how it gives all of these musicians a stage. And City College Center for the Arts, we're quite happy to be a part of that, okay? So please, make sure you figure out how to get your tickets. And the best way to figure out to get your tickets is to go to citycollegecenterforthearts.org, citycollegecenterforthearts.org, and get your tickets, right? Now, also going on in Aaron Davis Hall Gallery, we have Void of Death. the solo exhibition by Julio Mejia. Remember, our longtime listeners, that we extended it to February 26, 2018. So you have some time to go see it, but please don't miss it. We had to extend it because people wanted to see it. So please make sure, if you are one of those people, or just now you're realizing that you want to see it, that you get by and check it out, okay? Because I think this is probably the last time we're going to extend it, to be honest with you, okay? It's a fantastic show. Very large-scale paintings. It envelopes the Aaron Davis Hall Gallery, and it's quite a sight to see. The work is very important. Hopefully you heard, and we're going to give them a shout out again when we give a little roll call of the artists that we've had here on C3 Arts Radio over the course of 2017. But if you remember his story and his thinking and ideas about distilling political and social justice themes in abstractness, then you'll understand just how special this exhibition is. So the gallery is open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., right? Aaron Davis Hall Gallery, of course, it is in the hall of the great Aaron Davis Hall. So come by, check us out. Again, go to citycollegecenterforthearts.org for more information. And always know that you can also check us out, C3 Arts Radio, online. That's at C3 Arts Radio on Twitter, at C3 Arts Radio on Instagram, C3 Arts Radio on Facebook, and then, of course, C3ArtsRadio.com, the most beautiful, gorgeous website in the world. And this is C3 Arts Radio. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Harlem has its own radio station.
For you and yours, WHCR
90.3 FM.
The livest party in the whole universe.
The voice of Harlem.
C3Arts Radio. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Always, always back right here. WHCR 90.3 FM. Of course, the voice of Harlem. And we are C3Arts Radio. So, 2017 went by like a blink of an eye. There's so much that kind of occurred over the course of the year, though. I think I can remember certain points. Let's go back to early fall, where it seemed like the sky was falling. But we're still here, right? Here we are, late December, and we're still going. I remember my mother once said to me, I was so upset about politics. I've been a follower of politics since I was a child, very young, and an earlier point in time, I was very upset with what was happening in the political realm. And my mother looked at me and said, why are you so upset? We've been through far worse. We've been through far worse. I've seen far worse. And I understood what she was saying immediately. And I've tried to repeat that over the course of this year a couple times, much to no avail. People are like, are you crazy? What could be worse than this? What could be worse than this? And I get it, but we're still here. December 2017 going into 2018. And one of the good things that 2017 brought us, of course, is my new partner in crime, Mr. Winston Brewington, who is now part of the C3 Arts family.
Yeah, man. So happy to be a part of the family. It's been a great experience so far, man. I look forward to even better times in 2018.
Yeah, we're really going to get it cranking in 2018. We have a lot in store for you, a lot of changes. Evolution is probably the better word for it. We're going to be doing some evolving here at C3 Arts Radio, and we hope that you will stick with us and stay with us and as we try to expand for the future. But I do want to take a look back at some of the guests who came on in May 2017, a special year. Now, we had a number of them, and we kind of made a list here of a good amount of them. And if we don't mention your name here, believe me, we'll get to it. We're going to say thank you to everyone. So anyone who is listening and has come up and contributed to C3 Arts Radio, please know that we will make sure that you receive the gratitude that we feel. First of all, to our co-hosts, Tony Ty Stretz, Nasser Metcalf, and a lot of the other people have come in and lent a helping hand over the course of the year. We're looking forward to a great 2018. You know, you're all going to be back in full effect here. Now, some of the guests that we had over the course of 2017. Let's do a little roll call. John Zolo, Raw Movement. Please make sure you go check out rawmovement.org. Fantastic dance troupe. They performed at Aaron Davis Hall to rave critical reviews. It's a fantastic show. John himself as the artistic director, the founding artistic director. It's a fascinating man. We want to give a shout out to John. One of maybe the most talented musicians of today. We were over the moon to have him here in the studio, C3 Arts Radio, also on the stage of Aaron Davis Hall. That was Elio Villafranco. Of course, fantastic Cuban artist, curator of the Cuba to Senegal Letters to Mother Africa 2 performance at Aaron Davis Hall. You have to pick up Elio's music. It really was one of the standout releases of 2017, and you have to see him in person. He recently did a show at Lincoln Center, Jazz at Lincoln Center, at the Dizzy Club Coca-Cola, and he performs regularly around the city. So please make sure that you get out to check out Elio Villafranco. Farrah Boulay, family here to C3 Arts Radio. Farrah just recently made her debut at the Apollo Theater. Absolutely fantastic show. We've had Farrah on the show a number of times. She is without a doubt one of the leaders of the new Harlem Renaissance, the artistic side of that movement. She is definitely one of its leaders, and we look forward to continuing to follow her career as it goes. The great British actor, Obi Abili. Obi Abili played Othello, actually at the Irish Theater Workshop. You've probably seen him in a number of movies. He's part of the British Invasion. What do you think about the British Invasion? The British Invasion.
I dig it.
Yeah?
I dig it. Yeah. I mean,
You don't have any friends that are a little upset about all of the British actors coming over here and taking their jobs?
Well, it's interesting because there's some really talented like British actors, and they take their craft seriously, and I mean, it is acting, so it's tough because you want to be able to give an equal opportunity for Americans to be able to play parts that are considered American. But at the same time, if someone really fits a particular role really well, then I feel like they should have the shot and get the job. It's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's so competitive.
Yeah, it's very competitive, and there's a certain training that a lot of British actors receive. However, if the playing field were a little more level, I think there's a good argument. I've heard arguments on both sides. And the argument was a little better that where American actors had the opportunity to, for example, go and play someone from Leeds or
that's a good point.
someone from Brixton or something, then it would be seen probably in a different light. But of course, the United States being the mecca for acting in terms of financially. Right.
This is where the big money is. You want to make the big action film or whatever. It's interesting. One of my favorite actors is still Idris Elba.
Yeah,
he came from over there, and he's played some great roles. So
absolutely. And Obi Abili is in that line, fantastic actor. This conversation is no way downing the work that he does. He is a fantastic young actor. Please make sure you follow Obi Abili. Now, we also had a very interesting show that we had where we had Miss Beth Citron, who is a curator. And she put together an exhibition called Henri Cartier-Bresson, India in Full Frame. And Henri Cartier-Bresson, of course, is one of the famous photographers who kind of made this true-to-life kind of documentary-style photography quite popular. And he also put it in the channels of art, taking it from something like advertising or news photography or something like that, and putting it rightfully on the walls of galleries and museums. Now, Henri Cartier-Bresson, of course, one of his great subjects was India. And it was a fantastic exhibition which ran at the Rubin Museum, and we had Beth Citron in to discuss it. So I want to give a shout out to Beth. It was fantastic, very informative. Now, also, every year, the New York African Film Festival, one of the most consistent pieces of programming, I could say, that happens to New York. It's actually year-round, but it has its points of concentration. Well, this year, we had Sarah Idris and Shirikiana Jerima. Yes, that Jerima, the famous black independent film maker. It's a fantastic show, absolutely fascinating, the films that they were promoting. The New York African Film Festival is coming back right around the corner, so make sure you check out for it, right? Also, want to give a shout out to the great artist, Mr. Nathaniel Mary Quinn. Now, if you're aware, Nathaniel Mary Quinn is really one of the rising stars of the arts world. And you may have seen him. I think after he was on that show, you may have seen him anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And it's been fantastic to see his career really explode. He's a very interesting young man, and we are looking forward to following all of his exploits in the future. So we're just getting started. We're just getting into this, ladies and gentlemen. We got more people to give shout-outs to. This is the end of the year. 2017, C3 Arts Radio. We're giving thanks to all the people who came on the show and helped us out here, C3 Arts Radio. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem.
C3Arts Radio, and we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Always, always back right here. WHCR 90.3 FM. And always know that you can always catch us as well online. Check us out at C3Arts Radio on Twitter and Instagram, C3Arts Radio on Facebook, and C3ArtsRadio.com, the most beautiful website in the world. And we're in the middle of giving a few shout outs to the people who have come on the show. It's nothing if the people don't join in, and we're very happy. One of the things that we're going to be doing in 2018 as well, let me do a little foreshadowing, is that we're going to be inviting our listeners to join us much more. Sometimes it's difficult in our show that goes by so fast, but we will be setting up special shows so we can hear from our listeners and get you in on the conversation here. So we're going to be doing a lot more of that. We want to hear you. We want to get to know you a little better. So look out for that in 2018. So now we're still going through our list of people, of artists, of people who work in the arts, people who create the arts, people who employ people in the arts. All right? Everyone, you know this is the place for the advocacy of the arts. And we're giving thanks to the artists who have come by and spoke with us here at C3Arts Radio. And by extension, hopefully spoke with you as well. Let's get it back going here, okay? Now, next up, Dr. Linda Humes. She is the executive and artistic director of the Yafa Cultural Arts. And Yafa is the storytelling organization that has been around since the early 1980s, or late 1980s, I should say. Fantastic organization. Dr. Humes has weathered many storms to keep this organization very strong. You know, we are all about storytelling here at C3 Arts Radio, and Yafa is one of your best, and I do mean best, sources for it. So please make sure that you check and follow up with Yafa Cultural Arts. Miss Grace Aniza Ali, the editor of Note magazine. Very extremely smart and current magazine that deals with issues from all over the world. Fantastic guest. You have to follow her exploits. She will explain so much through her discussions with intellectuals, artists, philosophers, on and on and on. It's Of Note magazine. The editor is Grace Aniza Ali. Also, Miss Monique Martin, director of programming, Harlem Stage. She came in. We did a little series here where we talked about what is happening in some of the other organizations, particularly in here or in and around Harlem. And she came in and gave our listeners the lowdown on what is happening at Harlem Stage. We also did it with the Schomburg and several other organizations here and around the city. We want to give a special shout out to Miss Monique Martin. Of course, Julio Mejia, fantastic visual artist. We've really kind of upped the game in terms of our visual arts representation. And so this particular show they put together with Miss Susan Luss, who's a curator, of course, was fantastic. And we want to give a shout out to Julio. Xiao Yishui, artistic director of the Creative China Festival. She joined us, gave a fantastic show. It was very it's very fascinating. The festival itself, which is a kind of diplomatic mission as well. We were very proud to have dealt with it, to improve relations through the work of the arts with China, and not just how you might normally interact with China in terms of through its biggest ports. We're talking about a lot of the other mid to large size cities. When I say mid to large, because a mid-sized city in China is like a huge
Giant.
city anywhere else, right? Yeah, right. But it was very fascinating to find out how the Creative China Festival was put together and what some of its mission was. Mr. Olivier Tarpega. He is the curator of the Declassified Memory Fragment. Fantastic performance series. It was a very lively conversation. He's a very interesting character. You were here for that one, too.
I was.
Yeah.
Very interesting character.
Very, very interesting character. Very, very talented, extremely talented. So please make sure that you follow on the exploits of Mr. Olivier Tarpega. Mr. Juan Jose Escalante, the executive director of the Jose Limon Dance Company, the Limon Dance Company. Now, the Limon Dance Company, of course, as we were saying before, is a company which is truly on the level of other kind of groundbreaking dance troupes. We're talking about the Martha Grahams, talking about the, I can go on and on, all right?
I'm trying to remember myself.
When you think of dance, especially, of course, Jose Limon of Mexican descent, this particular, in terms of just the cultural impact of the Limon Dance Company, of Jose Limon himself, we are very happy to have on the show Khalil Kane, and on and on and on and on and on and on. We've had a great year, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank all of the guests that came on the show. We also had a long list of storytellers. That's another thing for you to interact with us here at C3 Arts Radio. If you have a story to tell, let us know. Hit us up. Shoot us an email, and we'll get you up here. We'll invite you up here to tell your story. It's part of our storytelling project here at C3 Arts Radio. So hit us at c3artsradio@gmail.com. That's c3artsradio@gmail.com. Okay. And special thanks to everyone. Special thanks to everyone that has tuned in to us for this year and the last couple of years. It's been a great ride. So we're going to be right back. C3 Arts Radio, place for advocacy. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem.
C3Arts Radio, and we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Always back, right here, C3Arts Radio, right here, WHCR 90.3 FM, of course, the voice of Harlem. And we've been going through our thank yous for 2017. This is our last show of the year. So we are getting in our gratitude. Got to give our gratitude. Got to say thank you to the people who help you do the things that you do. And we're very proud of what we've been established here at C3Arts Radio thus far, but we are going to evolve, and we hope that you'll stick with us through some of the changes that we have coming up in 2018. But in our review of 2017, I want to get your idea, Winston. What struck you before we get out of here? Tell us what some of the things culturally that happened over the course of 2017 that caught your ear.
Well, speaking on the culture, I'm a big movie buff. And one of the most interesting movies I've seen this year was Get Out, directed by Jordan Peele, of course, from Key and Peele fame.
Yeah, that was a very impactful movie, and it really kind of took the industry by storm because people did cost very little to make, and it had a very outsized kind of impact. And I think it's opened up some doors for a lot of other directors and people who want to produce films of this kind of size and magnitude, at least. So it's a very big success.
Yeah, I think so. I remember, trying to go to see the movie the first time, and it was just like packed. I went to the Magic Johnson Theater on 125th, and I couldn't even get in. So then I had to wait a couple weeks, go back out. Was able to get in, but it was like still packed.
Right.
And I just remember having so much fun. Like I just thought the way that it was written, the way that it was acted, I just thought it was a lot of fun. And hopefully to get some Oscar love. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. All right. Were you a fan of Jordan Peele before?
I was a fan of Jordan Peele before. I met him once years and years ago before he did Key and Peele because he was friends with another friend of mine, and really chill, quiet dude. And I'm happy that he's having some success, and here he's doing some more, original projects in the future. So that should be a lot of fun.
Fantastic. Why do you think that film really kind of hit a vein in our society? Why do you think? What about that film? Now I have my own thoughts. I'm asking this question, but it's not necessarily a leading question. But I just want to get what you think. Why do you think that hit a vein in our society?
Well, I think it came out at a very interesting time because dealing with race in America, but it's done in such a way that as a black male watching it, I can relate to situations where people ask you weird questions in like these strange ways, and you kind of have to maneuver and and kind of deal with it, and, because things can get awkward. And I just think the way that he did it was really smart, and I really think that racial dynamic is something that people really latched on to, because usually I don't want to give anything away, just in case people haven't seen it yet, but the end of the movie was a little,
spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's a little different than the way most horror movies would end. And, I just thought that, it was really cool to do something different.
Yeah, it's a horror movie, and it has a lot of the elements of a horror movie, but it's a social political film as well, and it's just fascinating how he's able to kind of marry these two in such a way. Because at the end of the film, you really are, are gripped by the tension of what's going to unfurl here.
Let me tell you, man, I'm not a big horror movie fan, but like the scariest part of that movie was the very end when the cop car pulled up.
Yeah,
I was like, oh man.
Yeah,
that was by far. Everyone there was like, oh man. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got Get Out. What else? What else were you taken by this year?
All right. So as far as music goes, a couple big, hip hop records have come out this year. Jay-Z's 444 received a lot of love at the Grammys. But I mainly want to talk about Kendrick Lamar's album Damn. It's received a lot of love, and Rolling Stone named it their #1 album of the year, which I'm not exactly sure how many rap albums have received that acknowledgement, but I think that's pretty big, especially for Kendrick in his career. And I mean, Pimp a Butterfly was another great album, and then his Untitled album was also, they also had some gems on there. So the guy's putting out quality material, and I only see him getting better from here. You know, I know some people, there's a lot of debate on, you know, who's the best rapper in the game right now, and you know, there's a lot of good competition, and there's also some you know, there's a lot of love going to people who I don't necessarily think should be getting all the love that they're getting.
for example?
I mean, let's see. Migos is okay.
Okay.
You know, some of the new, I mean, they got some jams you could put on, like if you're in the club or something like that, but I'm not going to sit through and just listen to like a whole Migos album. Like, I can respect it. They're doing what they do, but, you know, I'd rather listen to Kendrick or even Jay's new album, or, man, I just heard, I don't know if you heard it, but that Black Thought freestyle that's been on it's been circulating the internet recently.
It was done on Hot 97, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was with Funk Flex, and it got so much love on Twitter, and like people saying it's the best freestyle they've ever heard. And I mean, the guy is, I mean, he's been doing this for so long. The roots have been around for forever.
Yeah. And Black Thought is a true talent. And it's been interesting to see his career kind of unfurl. He came out kind of already having that kind of versatility where he could kind of harmonize in a way. You don't think of him as having the world's greatest voice, but he's a very talented singer, doesn't miss a lot of notes, but he's just an absolute beast in terms of his rhyming skills, and he always has been. So it's quite fascinating to see how he kind of he's kind of kept that up. I mean, he's been very consistent now.
He has been
for years and years and years and years.
I'm glad he's getting some more recognition.
So you would agree that Damn was the best album of the year?
It's hard to say because there's so much music, and I mean, I like all types of genres of music, but that was definitely an album that resonated with me, especially for the time that it came out. You know, I was feeling a certain way, I guess, just about you know, just life and politics and just the environment in general. So when that album came out and I listened to it, it kind of was it resembled a lot of the way that I felt about things. So it was just something that, you know, I was really bumping hard at the time, and you know, I still listen to here and there, you know, when there's so much stuff coming out, so it's hard to keep up sometimes. But I mean, that album is solid for sure. Right.
I think it's kind of fascinating. I thought that last year, 2016, my favorite album was a hip hop album, and I can't say that's happened in a long time. The Tribe Called Quest, We Got It From Here, was my favorite album.
That's a great album.
And that hadn't been true for some time, where my favorite album of the year was a hip hop album. So maybe there's the talk of the demise of hip hop as a genre probably is a little spoken too soon.
I think so. I think there's a lot of good things happening, bubbling right now. People working on good projects. I think Q-Tip's still gonna be making good music as long as he can. You know, there's not gonna be any more Tribe albums, but you know, Q's gonna keep doing his thing, and you know, I'm excited to see what some of these other guys are gonna be doing in the future. You know, I think it's gonna be good. 2018 is gonna be a good year for music. I'm predicting right now. If I had to predict,
All right. Good prediction. Well, let's say this. I will say that in my belief, the biggest story in the arts was, of course, the way the art world was going to react to the election of Donald Trump. And even beyond just Donald Trump, but also the kind of resurrection, the outward and clear rise of fascism across the world. And it was right here. Of course, I made the prediction, and it wasn't a very difficult prediction to make. It wasn't that surprising that the reaction of the art world was going to be clear, vociferous, and creative, right? And it was. And we saw almost all areas of the art world, from every genre. We saw artists use their position, their talent to make statements. From big name artists, of course, we had a lot of artists who just came out, and from people who refused to perform at Trump's inauguration. We had well-established artists who maybe kind of put something on the line to say something. I'll give you a quick little roll call of some of the people who came out and said some people who have reached a certain level and plateau in their careers. We have Adele, Belly, who canceled his performance on Jimmy Kimmel because Trump was going to be on. Cher, of course, is one of the most vocal people. Young Jeezy came out. He's been making a couple of political statements for a little bit of time now. Mac Miller, not so surprising. Mark Anthony, I think, was very eloquent in his denunciation of Trump's philosophy and approach. Meek Mill. I'm not so sure about Meek Mill's situation right now. That sounds kind of dubious right now.
Yeah.
Meek Mill came out and said something. Of course, you might expect someone like Miley Cyrus to come out and say something, but she did. Neil Young heard his music being played at a Trump rally. Quick decease and desist from Neil Young. Also, the Rolling Stones. Also, Adele. Shakira. Artists like Dred Scott, Nina Chanel Abney, Waka Flocka Fame.
Oh, I forgot about Waka Flocka.
That's right. REM. I could just go on and on and on and on and on. There have been different kinds of campaigns, right? You had Shepard Fairey's inauguration posters, which kind of came out right as he became the elect, handed out during Trump's inauguration, We the People campaign, it was called. You had these kinds of the art of the protest sign. That was probably one of the most interesting things of 2017. The art of the protest sign. The protest sign. You saw some of the most ingenious and creative protest signs, ways to make statements. In fact, this is so much so that the Smithsonian, National Museum of American History, the Bishopsgate Institute in London, and Temple University are just some of the institutions that are collecting and housing. You got to archive these things, ladies and gentlemen. They're archiving these protest signs. One of my favorite pieces was done by the French artist JR. If you may have seen this, there was a temporary installation where this huge 30-foot portrait of a 1-year-old Mexican boy looking over the border popped up. Fantastic piece. It happened just as the determination decision against DACA came down from the Trump administration. It was timely, it was effective, it was beautiful. Want to give a shout out. 2017, artists stood up. The battle's still here, but I know you guys got a lot more planned for 2018. They call it the resistance.
Yes, sir.
We call it good work. That's it. Happy 2017. We'll be back in the new year, ladies and gentlemen. C3 Arts Radio. We'll be back.